This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
So what's the best time for you? We could play your games, but I could never see me lose. And I've been checking out your moves. You will slip and slide, but I can always catch your groove. I've been hurt before and saw you inside me. Pulling on my heart, all the strings will fly. See, you can take the cake and just icing. Blow so quick, never fuck with the Pisces. But I learn quick. We could change shape in a tick. With a broken heart and nights too hard, I'm wide awake and I'm just still thinking about you, baby. I've been doing all I can, and baby, I'm not built to fight like on the daily. But you know I just need a little treating. And now I'm a little
Following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you already know that. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, January the 22nd of 2026. And we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Yep, hanging out with our friends from Radio Big as they do their thing, we do our thing, and we kind of go through the plethora of stuff that is happening inside of the world of the multiverse. Anyways, how's the last 24 hours or so been for you? Hopefully they've been quite exciting as you get to do the things that you want to do. Hopefully that's been the case, of course. Anyways, our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of the way that we go about everything that we do. So as we go through the whole gamut of stuff today, we're going to bring in some professional broadcasters just in case to talk about exactly what's going on with the main stories. Or should I say the stories that are going on across the world. You have the actual option of interacting with the show. Simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options that the system will give you. And then you can go through there and then make up your mind on how you would like to move forward. And then with that being said, boom, it's voila. We move forward into the world and then go from there. That's it. That is the whole kit and caboodle. So if you're good with it, I'm definitely good with it as we can do that. Also, on top of that, as we bring in our friends to talk about everything that's going on, they'll give you their versionality of the world in that particular regards. Because I would love to tell you that all the news is not opinionated, but there is someone's opinion in some way, shape, or form, one side or the other. Don't care on how you look at it, just kind of how it goes. So I just want to share that with you as we move forward. So let's do this. Let me bring in my friends from Feature Story News and let them tell you exactly what they saw going on, what they have going on, and then we'll kind of get that world moving in one general direction. So let's do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. Denmark says it will not negotiate over sovereignty of Greenland, but welcomes a constructive dialogue on Arctic security. It comes after Donald Trump said he had agreed the framework of a future deal on Greenland. After talks with NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte, the US president dropped his threat of tariffs on allies who opposed his ambition to take ownership of Greenland. But details of the deal remain scarce. Greenland's MP Kuno Fenker says there are concerns about what was agreed.
NATO is a consensus-based organization, and of course the largest military in the world and also contributor to NATO should be allowed to talk to the General Secretary, Mark Rutte. It's okay with me, but if they are agreeing on a framework, of course that should involve the rest of the NATO.
2 people have died in a landslide on New Zealand's northeast coast. The bodies were recovered from inside a house at Welcome Bay following torrential rains and strong winds. Meanwhile, rescue teams are searching for survivors after another landslide at a nearby campsite. Rebecca Bunden reports.
Rescuers are searching for several people, including children, after the landslide hit the campground in Mount Maunganui, a popular tourist spot on the coast of New Zealand. Hundreds have been evacuated, but authorities are uncertain on the number of people missing. But they say it's in the single figures. Heavy rains and floods have caused large-scale power cuts in the North Island. The Minister of Emergency Management has compared the damage on the East Coast to being like a war zone.
A donation of $2.3 million has been announced by the European Union to support communities affected by conflict in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The EU delegation says the funding is meant to provide life-saving assistance to thousands of people affected by the recent violence between Congolese forces and the M23 rebels. Chris Ochamringa has more from Kinshasa.
Recent fighting in the Democratic Republic of Congo's eastern province of South Kivu forced more than 500,000 people to flee their homes. Thousands of them sought refuge in neighboring Burundi. The displaced people live in overcrowded camps where the risk of disease outbreaks is high. The European Union released over $2 million to assist them with food, water, and medicine. The emergency response comes a week after the M23 rebels withdrew from the city of Uvira. The DRC government and the UN peacekeepers have sent troops to protect civilians in the region. Ethnic tensions between the Tutsis and other communities in eastern DRC have left thousands dead since late 2021.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today looking in more depth at the extraordinary news that the Canadian military has been ordered to make battlefield assessments for what would happen if the United States were ever to invade the country. Unthinkable once, but no longer, especially after President Trump's hostile mentions of Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney during the US leader's Wednesday speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Michael Ignatieff is a former Canadian opposition leader and says the world has now completely changed.
Look, we have a real issue here, which is the Northwest Passage over the top of Canada is regarded by Canada as an inland waterway. The United States has always believed, actually, it's an international waterway. And if you think this is a forgettable issue, don't, because this is going to be, as the world warms, one of the chief transit points for global commerce between Asia and Europe. And who owns it, who has control of it, is going to be central. And we used to have a kind of agree to disagree with the United States. I don't think there's space for that kind of relationship between the United States anymore.
Whether President Trump is climbing down over Greenland or not, many American allies have been deeply shaken by the events of the last several months, and Canada now wants to be ready for any future eventuality. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories. Denmark says it will not negotiate over sovereignty of Greenland, but welcomes a constructive dialogue on Arctic security. 2 people have died in a landslide on New Zealand's northeast coast. The bodies were recovered from inside a house at Welcome Bay following torrential rains and strong winds. And a donation of $2.3 million has been announced by the European Union to support communities affected by conflict in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's the latest feature story news. John Beaver reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal, safety transmission, The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
The best part of waking up isn't Folgers in your cup. It's us on your radio. On your radio.
Okay, so there you go. I think we got that. So let's continue talking a little bit about what the hell's going on inside of the world, because that is kind of what we do around here. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this, and we can start talking right away about some of the things that are going on inside of the news report. So yesterday at the World Economic Forum, President Trump talked about Greenland. So let's go through it.
But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated.
Okay, so there he is talking about Trump on why he wants Greenland. And then here's Trump slams Canadian Prime Minister. Take a listen to this.
And number two, psychologically, who the hell wants to defend a license agreement or a lease, which is a large piece of ice in the middle of the ocean where if there is a war, much of the action will take place on that piece of ice. Think of it. Those missiles would be flying right over the center of that piece of ice. All we want from Denmark for national and international security and to keep our very energetic and dangerous potential enemies at bay is this land on which we're going to build the greatest golden dome ever built. We're building a golden dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Okay, so there you go. There he's talking about Canada, and here you are listening to him talking about NATO. Take a listen.
But the problem with NATO is that we'll be there for them 100%, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. If we gave them the call, gentlemen, we are being attacked. We're under attack by such and such a nation. I know them all very well. I'm not sure that they'd be there. I know we'd be there for them. I don't know that they'd be there for us. So with all of the money we expend, with all of the blood, sweat, and tears, I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money.
So there you go. That's the president talking about his plans. I think that what exactly he wants to do next. How do you feel about this? Like, this is one of these big feeling questions, it seems like, that's coming about with this stuff. So how are you thinking about this as we go through it? I'm just saying. So if we're going to stay in the political realm, let's do this. Michelle Obama said the U.S. isn't ready for a woman president yet on the Call Her Daddy podcast. Michelle Obama said the U.S. isn't ready for a female president. Take a listen.
Let's just be real about it, and let's put that on the table and talk about, well, what's that about? Let's not be mad because I made the statement. That doesn't mean that women should roll up their sleeves and call it a day. Like, we're still growing, So, yeah, I think it's going to happen. Are we ready now? I don't know. Prove us wrong.
So there you go. There she is hanging out with Alex Cooper. Not a bad hangout, by the way. And then being able to talk about what she thinks about that. What is your general opinion in that particular regards? Would love to hear more about it. Go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get you directly into our system, letting us know what exactly is going on. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some miscellaneous stuff real quick. A highly decorated retired U.S. Air Force fighter pilot says that they're almost certainly a documented paper trail proving that the infamous 1996 UFO incident in Brazil actually happened. And the truth is still buried. Colonel Fred Clausen, a two-time Distinguished Flying Cross recipient, spoke to the National Press Club event in Washington, calling the alleged incident, often dubbed in Brazilian Roswell, too big to have occurred without leaving records. He said that the U.S. military really flew a covert UFO recovery mission to Brazil. Dozens of American personnel would have known about it, and classified or not, it would have generated flight plans, orders, logistical paperwork, and the incident dates back in January of 1996. When residents there in Brazil reported a cigar-shaped UFO crashing outside of the city, followed by sightings of strange creatures described as bipedal, with oily brown skin and large red eyes. 3 young women said they encountered one of these beings hiding behind a wall, while other witnesses claimed the Brazilian police and military captured at least 2 of them. According to witnesses and researchers, the U.S. Air Force allegedly stepped in, ceased the wreckage and beings, and flew everything out of Brazil, sparking a cover-up. The last nearly 30 years, the U.S. military has consistently denied recovering any UFO or alien life. Clausen explained that any such mission would have originated with Air Mobility Command in Illinois and then gone through South Carolina Air Base, involving pilots, crews, schedulers, commanders, and the whole chain. So there you go. What do you think? Is there a cover-up or is it all real? I don't know. That's always wanting to know what exactly is going on. So there you go. Why did somebody send me this? Okay, maybe we should talk about it. I'm going to make this a reference one more time. I do live in Florida. I normally do not run into this problem, but I will share it. But somebody sent me easy way to de-ice a windshield. So if you're ready and you're having problems and you're in one of those colder states, let's do this. Let's talk about it. Here's how to easily de-ice a windshield. Combine 1 cup of rubbing alcohol and half a cup of water in a spray bottle, and then mist the solution all over your windshield. Then rubbing alcohol will quickly lower the freezing point of the ice so that it melts faster, so you can be on your way. That's what it says. So thank you for sending this in, I think. Or park inside of your garage. I don't know. Just some options there. I mean, I don't know. I don't make these things in. I don't make these things up in regards of what is going on there. I just tell you exactly what's sent over. And then we kind of go from there. So there you go. Okay, so take a listen to this one real quick. Americans in 30 states warned to brace for the coldest winter storm ever. A massive winter storm is about to body check the U.S. with 30 states under warning, for the forecasters are calling one of the worst winter's blasts in recent memory. Arctic air spilling down from Canada, surcharged by Storm Fern, is expected to slam more than 200 million Americans with brutal cold, heavy snow, ice, and power-killing wind. We're talking about temperatures plunging as low as 50 below zero in some areas, with wind chills between 35 and 50 below across parts of the upper Midwest. Snow totals within 6 to 12 inches in many regions, while up to 2 feet may bury the Appalachia area. Ice is the real menace in the South, where freezing rain could cripple states that don't exactly keep snowplows on standby. Power outages last days or weeks, and damage in some areas that resemble post-hurricane conditions minus palm trees. Storm begins tomorrow in northern plains and will spread south to east in the weekend, hammering everything from Texas to New England, including much of the Midwest. the Great Lakes, and Washington, D.C. So there you go. Some stuff going on as we are talking. What do you think about this? Are you going to be in one of these affected areas? Because that's going to be, of course, the next conversation to have. No doubt there. So some stuff going on as we are talking. I don't know. People have said me some weird stuff. I know. I'm typing away over here because it gets weird. It gets weird right away when it comes to some of the stuff related to weather because you never know what exactly to do. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue talking because you know that we're going to have to talk a little bit about this. We're going to have to talk a little bit about that because that's kind of what we do. We just don't cover some information, but we try to uncover everything that we can get a hold of. So here you go. Take a listen to this. The Epstein Files saga cranked up another notch. So take a listen to this. This is one will rattle the room. House Oversight Chairman James Comer announced that Ghislaine Maxwell will be deposed on February the 9th, officially dragging Epstein, longtime accomplice, into congressional spotlight. It is the first hard date attached to her testimony, and yes, it landed like a dropped anvil on Capitol Hill. The announcement came during a heated committee hearing focused on holding Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for allegedly ignoring subpoenas tied to their past connections with the Epsteins. Republicans pushed for testimony. Democrats called it a political theater with a better lighting. Comer said flat out that he wants everything Epstein-related on the table from anyone who knows anything, and confirmed his team finally locked Maxwell in for a deposition, and said that there's a catch. Her lawyers have already warned she plans to plead the fifth. Comer said that he hopes that she changes her mind, but nobody in the room was holding their breath. Democrats, meanwhile, claimed partial victory. Ranking members Robert Garcia said the Maxwell deposition only happened because it sustained Democratic pressure, while assuring that the DOJ of giving her special quote-unquote treatment and slow-walking justice. So there you go. There you go. Okay, let's talk about some other news stories because this is the stuff that's making the cycle, and I think it's going to be important. A Texas jury has acquitted former Uvalde School District police officer Adrian Gonzalez of all 29 child endangerment charges, clearing him of criminal responsibility tied to the botched law enforcement response in 2022 Robb Elementary School shooting. Gonzalez, 52, was among the first officers on the scene when the gunman entered the school on May 24th of 2022. Prosecutors argued that he failed to immediately confront the shooters during the crucial early minutes of the endangering of 29 children inside of the school itself. So let's see. As Gonzalez pleaded not guilty and did not testify on his own defense, after roughly 7 hours of deliberation, the jury returned not guilty verdicts on all counts. Special Prosecutor Bill Turner told officers they couldn't stand by and allow it to happen, while defense attorney Jason Goss argued Gonzalez has been used as a scapegoat of a broader systemic failure. The verdict came as the emotions ran high in the courtroom. Family members of the victim wept while they bowed his head and appeared shaken. The judge thanked the jurors and recessed the court. The ruling does not end legal fallout for Uvalde. Former school district police Pete Arredondo still faces criminal charges related to the response with his trial pending. So what do you think here? What do you think about the whole thing? Because, this is one of these weird things that happens. So, you're always looking at one of these things and you go, okay, there has to be someone to quote unquote take the heat for all this. We're talking about 29 children here. Let's not forget what exactly happened. And let's not forget of the chaos that happened on that day, because we tend to forget those things. But yeah, that is one of those things that people will continue to look at going forward, because we're still looking for someone to blame for the incident. So there you go. Let's continue talking about some things going on. A polite man shot and killed after confronting a gas station customer for cutting bathroom line. A routine bathroom line in Phoenix gas station turned deadly. Danny Castor, 52, was waiting to use the restroom at a Quick Trip on January the 16th when another man, 25-year-old Derondo Franklin, cut in front of him. Castor called him out for skipping the line, and the argument escalated fast, shouting threats and then a gun. According to police surveillance footage, Franklin pulled a firearm. Castor tried to wrestle it away, and Franklin fired it. Striking Castor, Franklin fled the scene in a gray sedan driven by a woman. Castor was rushed to the hospital but died from his injuries. Franklin later called his parents and admitted that he had done it. His mother urged him to turn himself in, and then he surrendered to the police the following day. Detectives say that Franklin claimed that he was homeless and didn't see the line, and said that he fired in self-defense because he felt threatened. Authorities weren't buying it. Franklin has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder and is being held on $1 million bond. Castor's family has launched a GoFundMe. Remember him as a beloved family member and a dog lover whose life was cut short over a moment that should have never mattered, a bathroom line. So I don't know. I look at that and go, that's crazy. You all of a sudden shot someone because they said something about you cutting the line in the bathroom. And that was the reason to pull out a gun. You felt threatened. That's kind of a weird one when it's all said and done. But of course, there should be more video when it's all said and done too.
Duh.
So just keep that in mind as we are talking. Take a listen to this. Microchips helps reunite a family with a dog lost over 10 years. The Florida Animal Shelter reunited a missing dog with her family more than 10 years after she disappeared, thanks to a tiny piece of tech that actually did its job. Miami-Dade Animal Service took in a dog earlier this month, scanned her for a microchip, and discovered that she was Buttercup, now 15 years old and long thought to be gone for good. The microchip led the shelter staff straight to Buttercup's owner, allowing for an emotional reunion more than a decade in the making. The shelter used the moment to remind pet owners that microchips only work if the contact information is kept to date. Otherwise, it's just very small and very inexpensive grain of rice. I agree with that comment to an extent, but you also have to remember that somebody has to scan the damn thing. If they forget to scan it, well, it doesn't do you a lot of good there either. Just something to think about as we are talking. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's go ahead and do that thing that we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, main story time as we are talking, as we are doing, as we are grooving, because that is what we do around here. So, all right, let's talk about something that people hate admitting, especially in safety. Everyone wants to walk into the workplace and act like they're about to reinvent the damn wheel. We kind of just know that that's going to be the factoid that people want to do. And so there you go. Just like they discovered safety yesterday. So let's just make sure that we know that. Like the company hasn't already spent millions of dollars, hired 6 consultants, rolled out 12 programs, changed logos twice, and traumatized the workforce with PowerPoint since 1997. And then somebody walks in and says, yeah, we're going to start something from ground zero. You know all this bullshit. You've heard this before. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Some people want to, we're going to change everything because now I have seen the tablet made of stone from the mountain. So here's the reality nobody likes. So let's just be realistic. Most safety improvements are bolt-ons. Did you hear me? That's it. They're bolt-ons. And people get offended when you say that because it doesn't sound sexy. It doesn't sound transformational, and it doesn't sound like a TED Talk. You're not going to go into a TED Talk and say, we bolted onto an existing system. But that's the truth. Let me explain what I mean with bolt-ons, because some of you are already getting a little bit defensive, so let me just make sure that we're clear. A bolt-on is what happens when something already exists, and you're not stupid enough to pretend it doesn't. You don't get to walk into a place and say, yeah, that safety program you spent 7 figures on, we're going to pretend that it never happened. Because guess what? The people in that building, they remember it, they lived it, and they sure as shit survived it. And the second that you insult what already exists, you've already lost them. Think about it. Not because the system isn't perfect, but because you're disrespecting reality. You know those times where all of a sudden we have, this is the flavor of the week, and people will start saying that because all of a sudden you did this the last time, now you're doing this other time? that kind of stuff, this is what we're trying to avoid. So here's the part that consultants don't like saying out loud, but we're going to talk about it. You can't unspend money, you can't erase policies, and you can't delete training scars from people's brains. That shit is already baked in. Let's just be realistic. So when you come in with your shiny new framework and act like the past doesn't matter because people don't hear improvement, they hear you were stupid, you wasted your time, and everything you did was wrong. Think about it for a moment. How am I saying this any differently? I'm saying the general feeling, and there's not anyone that's going to want to listen anymore because of that. And congrats, you lost the room in the first 5 minutes. This is why bolt-ons matter, because bolt-ons acknowledge the truth. They say, yeah, this system exists. Now let's see how we can add to it without blowing the whole damn thing up. That might be adding better conversations, changing how incidents are discussed, tweaking how supervisors engage with people, introducing learning without nuking procedures. Notice what I didn't say? I didn't say burn it down, throw everything away, let's rebuild safety from scratch. Because that's fantasy land. That's not what exists. And let's be honest about something. Some people hate bolt-ons because they don't make you look like a genius. Bolt-ons don't come with a new logo, a rebrand, a fancy maturity model that everybody expects, and a big-ass keynote slide. Bolt-ons are messy. They're awkward. They rub against old systems and expose cracks, and people don't like that because it is easier to pretend you're revolutionary than it is actually to integrate shit that already exists. Think about that. I will tell you, I have been involved with consultants and I have used the word bolt-on and I thought somebody lost their shit because I said that. You're not building anything from scratch. So here's another uncomfortable truth. Every system is layered. Every workplace is the monster of Frankenstein. Old rules, new ideas, half-abandoned initiatives, and stuff that only exists because someone once got hurt. That's not failure, that's history. And pretending that those complexities don't exist doesn't make you innovative. It makes you disconnected. Think about it real quick. Now, let's be clear. Not a bolt-on, or not all bolt-ons are good. I mean, that's the reality of it too. So I don't want to go too far one way or the other. Some bolt-ons are absolute garbage, seriously. And they fail when nobody explains why they exist. They fight incentives that are already in place. They're treated like the solution instead of a solution. They're like, this is the solution, not a solution. Or they just get stacked on top of everything else until the system collapses under its own weight. That's not evolution. That's duct tape engineering. But that doesn't mean bolt-ons are bad. It means lazy bolt-ons are bad. So here's the part that really pisses people off. So let's just be realistic. Most organizations don't need a revolution. They need clarity. Let me try that again. They need clarity. Just in case you didn't hear it the last 2 times, they need clarity. They need someone to understand what already exists, why they exist, and where it actually is breaking down. And then, and only then, you can start adding these things to make sense. Not because they're trendy, not because they sell well, and not because they actually fit. So if your entire safety improvement pitch starts with everything you're doing is wrong, let me save you some time. You're done. Seriously, you're done. Because improvement doesn't start with insulting the past. It starts by understanding what you're bolting things onto. And if you don't know that, you're not improving the system. You're just adding to the noise. And that's the kind of safety that nobody asked for. So think about that today. If you walk in and say, let's blow some shit up and start from scratch, no one's going to want to care about what you have to say because the existing systems are already there. Corrections might need to be put in place, and acknowledgement that those things already existed at one point. They might have not been the best, but they will definitely get you to some further places than what you ever thought about.
Oops.
What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing that dinner is on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free. That's HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free to use the code SafetyFM free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free with code SafetyFM free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at RadioBig.fm.
Games, but I could never see me lose. I've been checking out your moves. You were slipping slide, but I can always catch your groove. But what's the use? Why we so dark? I liked us better at the start. Just holding hands, forgiveness free, but we don't backtrack gracefully. But baby, I've been doing all I can.
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Yep. A lot of fun stuff going on real quick. Anyways, this song real quick is called Slip and Slide by Josho. Song's readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. So there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Yep, a lot of fun times going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Thanks to Joshua. Thanks to Joshua for allowing us to play that here on the Rated R Safety Show. Okay, so let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there's going to be all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. There you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of this world, though. A New Mexico judge ruled Tuesday that Timothy Busfield can be released following his arrest on charges of alleged criminal sexual contact of a minor child abuse. The West Wing actor turned himself into authorities last week and was held without bond following a hours-long detention hearing. The judge ruled that Bushfield can be released pending trial, citing his lack of criminal history, compliance with court orders for his arrest, and evidence that the case so far. So there you go. That was some things that happened right away as we are talking. So what do you think about this? Because it definitely makes it interesting. Okay, so take a listen to this one. Here is an interesting way to embark on a fitness journey, approaching 50 and struggling with his weight and mental health. Skip Boyce locked himself inside of a bedroom on January the 10th and plans to live there for the entire year. The 49-year-old from Utah has transformed the space to a self-contained isolation room where he will sleep, exercise, cook, and live stream while focusing on building healthier habits. Weighing in at 315 pounds, Skip hopes to reach 205 pounds and also plans to learn new skills, including new language, strength training. His wife and adult children support the plan, with his wife delivering food to his door. Skip, quote, "If I walk out of this room with a healthy lifestyle and good habits, I'll be a happy guy." So there you go. It's not a diet plan. That sounds like a Netflix series. If you're asking me, in a whole year locked in a room, I'd still manage to avoid leg day. I mean, I'm just saying, that seems on how it worked. Now, let's think about that real quick. You're going to lock yourself up in a room. Do you work remotely? Because that's the only way that I would see that would work. And why are you making yourself not leave the room? I don't understand that. So maybe there's a little bit more context to the whole thing in regards of what is going on, because I definitely have no clue on what all that means. Because why would you do that to yourself? I understand wanting to be healthy. That I get it. But you want to go from 315 pounds to 205 pounds, and you're locking yourself up in a room. How is that making anything better? But, you have to do what you think works for you. Anyways, let's talk to somebody who's a little bit more happier about life and everything that's going on. Let's go ahead and bring in some John Smalls and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Corey. Amy Carmichael said, "You can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving." So true. Now, I don't know what the exact context was for this quote, so I might be talking about something completely different than what Amy meant, but I know a wealthy family, and they instantly came to mind when I heard this quote. The grandfather gave everything he could to his family because he loved them so much. He set aside a bunch of time to spend as much of it as he could with his family. He loved being around his children and his grandchildren. Sadly, he passed away fairly early. His wife, well, she was built differently. She doesn't like spending time with the family. She'll send checks, but they really want her spending her time with them, not just money. But sadly, that's all she has to give. I think this quote fits perfectly. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
A deepening clash is emerging between the United States and key European partners over President Trump's push to acquire Greenland.
After meetings in Davos, European Union officials publicly called Trump's tariff warning a mistake and questioned Washington's reliability as an ally. Several NATO partners said economic pressure over Greenland could rupture transatlantic ties, just as leaders are trying to manage Russia's war in Ukraine and broader global instability. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Ukraine's power grid is under renewed strain after Russia launched one of its largest recent overnight barrages of missiles.
Ukrainian officials said more than 300 drones and missiles targeted infrastructure, knocking out electricity to hundreds of thousands of people in multiple regions. Emergency crews worked to restore service while also repairing damaged transmission lines and substations. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
Authorities in northeast Syria say dozens of prisoners linked to the Islamic State group have escaped during heavy fighting around a detention facility in the region.
Syria's Interior Ministry reported that 120 suspected Islamic State members got out after militants attacked the prison and surrounding security posts. Local forces said clashes erupted as guards tried to regain control and track down escapees. Regional officials warned the prison break could complicate ongoing counter-terrorism operations. Benjamin Wright reporting.
A U.S. citizen in Minnesota says federal immigration agents broke into his home without a warrant, held him at gunpoint, and led him outside wearing only underwear in freezing weather.
Chong-Lee Scott Thao told reporters that armed officers forced open his door before dawn, entered with weapons drawn, and ordered him out of bed. He says agents then escorted him outside in below-freezing conditions while they searched the home. Immigration officials have not publicly released detailed information about the operation. Kyle Norris reporting.
Protests in Minneapolis are stretching into another week as thousands rally against an aggressive federal immigration crackdown.
Demonstrators have gathered in frigid streets near federal buildings and neighborhoods, denouncing large-scale raids and the deployment of hundreds of additional federal agents to the city. The Pentagon has told about 1,500 active duty troops to be ready in case President Trump orders a military deployment to support immigration operations. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Grocery shoppers across the United States are facing new sticker shock as food prices climb at their fastest monthly pace in several years.
Government data shows supermarket prices rising at their quickest monthly rate since 2022, with staples like meat, eggs, and produce all moving higher. Economists cited supply chain pressures, weather-related crop problems, and strong demand as key drivers behind the jump. The increase runs counter to President Trump's recent claims that inflation is under control. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Radio Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Okay, here we are, 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about two things that happened back on this date. Back in 2004, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck call off their engagement. That happened in 2004. And in 2008, Heath Ledger died from accidental intoxication from prescription drug. So this was the year that The Dark Knight came out. He passed away before he was ever able to see it. So there you go. Also, in some other news, let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Steve Perry turned 77. Linda Blair turned 67. Jazzy Jeff turned 61. Diane Lane, 61. And Beverly Mitchell turned 45 today. So there you go. Let's talk about some things you ought to know. Here's last night's winning Powerball numbers: 11, 26, 27, 53, 55. Powerball was 12. Power Play was 2. So there you go. Also, Elizabeth Holmes is back in the headlines and is asking for mercy. The disgraced Toronto's founder has formally asked President Trump to commute her prison sentence. According to the Justice Department records, Holmes, now 41, has been behind bars since May of 2023 after being convicted of defrauding investors by lying about Toronto's blood testing technology and the one that promised labs results with a single finger prick and delivered. Fiction. Her downfall followed years of misleading claims of medical device that never worked as advertised, costing investors hundreds of millions and becoming one of Silicon Valley's most infamous fraud cases. So there you go. Also, in some other news, the federal appeals court has temporarily lifted lower court restriction on how federal immigration agents can act during enforcement operations in Minnesota. The appellate stay means that federal law enforcement, including ICE and other agents, can use force crowd control tools like tear gas and pepper spray in the course of enforcing federal immigration laws, even against protesters who were previously protected from such measures under the lower court's order. Also, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee just turned up the heat on the Clintons. Yesterday, the committee approved contempt of Congress resolution against Bill and Hillary Clinton after they refused to testify about Jeffrey Epstein. The vote wasn't close, 34-8 to hold the former President Bill Clinton in contempt and 28-15 to do the same for Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Notably, the votes were bipartisan. 9 Democrats joined Republicans to approve the contempt resolution against Bill Clinton, while 3 Democrats crossed the party lines on Hillary Clinton vote. Every Republican on the committee voted yes on both resolutions. Also, last but not least, heart disease and stroke are still America's biggest killer, even with some of the most recent progress. According to American Heart Association 2026 Heart Disease and Stroke Statistics Update, more Americans die from heart disease and stroke than any other causes in the U.S. Despite the decline over the past 5 years, heart disease remains the #1 cause of death, while stroke has climbed to the 4th leading cause nationwide. So there you go. Here is some words of wisdom for today. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. And if I can give you words of advice, steer bread away from you for good luck. Trouble will come if you stir it toward you. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to end our time together at the top of the hour. I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so, as I am hanging out over there talking about music and entertainment. If you want to stay here and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting, you're more than welcome on doing that. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.